Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Before we begin the ceremony, we kindly ask for your attention to a few important announcements. Please take a moment to familiarize yourself with the nearest emergency exit. These are clearly marked and located at the corners of the auditorium. In case of an emergency, calmly proceed to the nearest exit. Additionally, we request that you switch your mobile phones to silent mode to ensure that the ceremony proceeds without interruptions. And finally, we request that everyone be seated before the ceremony begins at 6 p.m. sharp. This will help us ensure a smooth and timely start to the ceremony. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Goh Yu Lin, Chairman of the Duke-NUS Governing Board, Professor Fong Kok Yong, SingHealth Deputy Group CEO, Medical and Clinical Services, Duke-NUS Governing Board Member, Duke-NUS Governing Board Members, Professor Thomas Kaufman, Dean of Duke-NUS, Master Academic Clinicians and Senior Leaders from the SingHealth Duke-NUS Academic Medical Center, distinguished guests and colleagues, Class of 2028, and family and friends. Welcome to the Duke-NUS White Coat Ceremony for our 18th MD class. I'm Dr. Suzanne Goh, and I'm the Associate Dean of the Medical Curriculum, and I'm excited and honored to be your Master of Ceremonies for tonight. The White Coat Ceremony is a very special occasion and marks the students' entry into our noble profession. Before we commence, here are some housekeeping rules. We respectfully ask that you keep your mobile phones on silent mode throughout the event. I would like to inform you that this session is being recorded and live streamed on YouTube and Zoom. Footage and images from the school's digital and print publications may be used for publicity and communications purposes. When we recite the Hippocratic Oath, We welcome all doctors present to please rise and join the class and faculty in reciting the oath together. Thank you for your kind cooperation and participation in making this a wonderful celebration. Our program this evening begins with an opening address by Dean Professor Thomas Kaufman, followed by a video showcasing the class of 2028. Then Vice Dean for Education, Associate Professor Shiva Saraf Yazdi and Professor Chan Chun Main, Senior Associate Dean, co-directors of the Academic Medicine Education Institute, will join us on stage to confer white coats to the new students as alumnus Dr. Kok Chun Yen from the class of 2023 presents the class. Next, we will have Professor Fong Kok Yong, who will deliver congratulatory remarks before leading the class in reciting the Hippocratic Oath. Associate Professor Devanan Anantham, Director of the Sing Health Duke-NUS Medical Humanities Institute, will then deliver the closing remarks. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to invite Dean, Professor Thomas Kaufman, to deliver the opening address. Dean.
Okay. Mr. Go Yulin, Duke-NUS Governing Board Chair. You can't find me $5 for that. This is formal. Our special guest, Professor Fong Kok Young, who's also Duke-NUS Governing Board member and the Deputy Group CEO for Medical and Clinical Services at Sing Health, our Duke-NUS Governing Board members, our Master Academic Clinicians and senior leaders from the Sing Health Duke-NUS Academic Medical Center, distinguished guests, colleagues, and of course, a very warm welcome to the Duke-NUS class of 2028, their families, loved ones, and friends. So can I have the class stand up, because you don't have any distinguishing features until you put your white coats on, so we want to see who you are, and there they are, class of 2028. Okay, time to sit. You'll have your chance in a little while. So welcome everybody to the white coat ceremony. This is always a really exciting occasion, where today we will formally welcome the incoming class of 2028. I met the class in person a couple weeks ago, first day of class. There was a lot of excitement and energy in the room, but today, this is the real deal today. We're really welcoming you today. And we're welcoming you not just as new medical students, but also future colleagues in the medical profession. And today, for the first time, you'll recite the Hippocratic Oath, standing together with your senior colleagues and affirming your commitment to the humanism and ethics of the medical profession. This oath has been around for a while, more than 2,000 years, back to the time of Hippocrates and the ancient Greeks. And the language is a little maybe stilted, but even after all these years, it still clearly articulates the requisite principles that underlie the ethical practice of medicine. Putting at its center the well-being of those who we were privileged to care for. And I must say, even now, after all these years, I still get a little choked up when we start saying the oath. And indeed, today, in this era of rising demands and advancing technologies and artificial intelligence, retaining the humanism in medicine has never really been more important. I'd also like to take the opportunity tonight to give my warmest greetings and congratulations to the families and the loved ones and friends of the class of 2028. Can we also have you rise and be recognized so we can see who you are? Don't be shy. Stand up. There's a bunch of them upstairs too. Yeah, there we go. They're doing a wave now. But thank you all for joining us today, and a warm welcome to the Duke-NUS family. I know you're really proud of this extraordinary group of new medical students, and we're certainly, and I am certainly very proud to have them in the school. Indeed, they're a remarkable group. They're academically accomplished. They've earned their degrees from the world's best universities, and they also bring with them a certain maturity, diverse backgrounds, and a range of experience that will enrich our medical community. And these are really the qualities that distinguish Duke-NUS students and make Duke-NUS such a unique school. So on behalf of Duke-NUS, let me say thank you, family and friends and loved ones, for nurturing and supporting these remarkable students to help them arrive to what is a really exciting stage in their lives. The next 4 years are going to be exhilarating, I'll say, but also challenging. And they're definitely up to it, no worries. But I also know that they'll need your continuing love and support during this next phase. Now, let me say a few words directly to the class. Today, you're all standing on the same starting line. You're united by your passion to become doctors and more importantly, your desire to improve and impact the lives of the individuals who will entrust you with their health and well-being. This is not a responsibility to be taken lightly, but rather can only be earned with dedication and commitment. Years, yes, years of hard work and training, but also observing and learning from your mentors. Now, tonight you will accept this great responsibility by donning your white coats and taking the Hippocratic Oath. The white coat is a powerful symbol. It's the doctor's uniform. It provides a sense of identity to those who wear it, but most importantly, the coat marks its wearer's commitment to helping those in need with the power to cure sometimes, to relieve often, and to comfort always. I remember the first time I put on the white coat as a medical student, which, trust me, was a long time ago. But we did have white coats back then. But it was exciting, but also a bit daunting. And I wondered whether I'd ever be able to live up to the lofty ideals that are symbolized by what is really a simple garment. Over the years, I became comfortable and confident in my uniform, and I feel certain that the same will be true for you. Although, to be accurate, your uniform is really going to be scrubs. But it's just a little too hard to do that in this context, and really the white coat still has a special place, even though it's kind of gotten replaced in real life doctors working. I also want to remind you that you've chosen to attend an outstanding medical school, and where you learn medicine in a world-class academic medical center from brilliant and nurturing clinical teachers and master academic clinicians, some of whom are here in the room today, and they're here underscoring their commitment to your education and your development. You're also entering medicine at a historic and really exciting time. In recent years, there have been really breathtaking advances in science and technology that are being brought to bear in our fight against cancer, the ravages of aging and frailty, and chronic diseases like diabetes and heart failure, among many others. These advances will provide opportunities for your generation of doctors to innovate and tackle big problems in population health, drug discovery, and much more. But medicine is not just a science, it's an art, and that's part of what we're here for tonight. Learning how to make meaningful connections with patients and colleagues alike will be essential to your endeavor to become good doctors. And you'll learn many of these skills from your mentors and teachers, and not so much not so much through tutorials, but by being there on the wards and the clinics, watching, listening. I remember one of my first attendings in internal medicine who turned out to be an important role model for me. His name was Earl Metz. He was a renowned hematology oncology specialist, but he was also a doctor's doctor, kind of like Fung Kuk Young. But he was one of those physicians that everybody looked up to, very smart, knew his field, but also really dedicated to the humanistic side of medicine. So from Dr. Metz, I learned a lot about chemotherapy and how to stage lymphoma. But I also learned how to talk to patients and their families with empathy in the face of a terrible diagnosis, or how to be encouraging when times are difficult. So there are many dimensions to becoming a doctor, and these so-called soft skills are really at the core of medical practice. And this is especially important these days in the face of advances in the omnipresent electronic medical record and digital technologies and AI as they come into the clinical workplace. So I urge you to be a sponge. Soak up the experiences, find role models to learn from as you develop your professional identities and embark on your new careers. There are many outstanding role models in this exceptional academic medical center, and like I said, a lot of them are here in this room. And they will be very pleased to walk beside you as you develop and grow into the outstanding doctors that we know you can be. So congratulations. Welcome formally, once again, class of 2028, and your families, friends, loved ones, and I look forward to an exciting evening celebrating with you. Thanks.
Thank you, Dean. Before we proceed to the next highlight, let's hear from some of our students as they share their passion for medicine in a short video.
Dependable as a friend and also in terms of my responsibilities.
Passionate. I put my heart and soul into everything I do. Ambitious. I always strive for bigger goals and love taking on new challenges.
Hi!
Hello. Hi.
Hi! I can type at 181 words per minute, so I assume that will come in handy in some kind of admin work.
I used to do a lot of magic tricks. I can run the 5 kilometers in under 17 minutes.
I cook a really good steak, medium or medium rare. I got you.
It's collaborative and innovative culture. I think being part of an institution that's pushing the fields of medicine is very interesting to me.
I like that Duke-NUS had a unique blend of clinical skills, theoretical skills, and research.
The Clinician Plus program, together with the Duke-NUS Health Innovator program, allows me to combine both medicine and engineering to solve meaningful healthcare problems.
Maybe not strange, but I heard that gloves were invented by a surgeon for his wife because he saw that her hands were always very dirty after performing surgery, so I thought that's quite heartwarming to know.
The nerve impulses in the body travels up to 288 kilometers per hour.
A genetically modified pig heart was transplanted to a human, giving him over a month with his loved one.
Kellogg's invented cornflakes to lower the male libido.
I want to be a doctor that is approachable,
Trustworthy, they can rely on.
Compassionate and caring.
I'd like to be able to understand every language in the world, including what animals say.
Photographic memory, because I want to remember everything I learned.
I will ask 3 more wishes.
I want to be a good pediatrician and to also be a clinician engineer.
I want to become a clinician scientist and an orthopedic surgeon. With my background in sports and engineering, I want to develop advanced prosthetics that will help the lives of my patients.
I hope to see the development of a prevention for dementia. Someone can find a cure for eczema, because a friend of mine has it and it seems to really affect her quality of life.
Bioprinting organs. If we can print whole functional organs and transplant them to a human, we can solve the problem of organ shortage altogether.
Almost everything. I think becoming a doctor has been this lofty goal for a lot of us for a very long time already. So it's very exciting to finally start on this journey.
It would definitely be to collaborate with my classmates and faculty to work on meaningful, innovative solutions for our healthcare system.
I want to immerse myself in the challenging curriculum while developing my hands-on clinical skills.
Here's to a lifetime of friendship and studying.
Stay curious and good luck.
I know the journey is gonna be tough, but remember why we're here.
Fighting!
Stay strong, guys. See you all in class.
Action.
And I need you, and I miss you.
Honey, honey, you thrill me. Honey, honey, I'm a singer.
Please don't make me sing again.
Wow, the excitement in that video is really palpable. You know, students, I urge you to hold on to this, to anchor yourselves to this passion. In the long days and swift years ahead, let it be your North Star, guiding and motivating you through every challenge and triumph. So to that end, today's white coat ceremony marks the formal start of our students' challenging yet fulfilling journey to becoming doctors. A journey which, upon graduation, culminates with their entry into the medical profession. The white coat stands as a symbol of trust, compassion, and professionalism in the medical field, marking the beginning of a lifelong commitment to patient care and excellence. We are proud to present our incoming class with their first white coats, signifying the start of their journey. To introduce the class of 2028, I am pleased to invite our alumnus, Dr. Kok Chun Yen, to share a few words of encouragement and to present the class for the conferment of the White Coats. Dr. Kok, please.
Thank you, Dr. Goh. Dear esteemed guests and class of 2028, I am Chun Yen, an alumnus from the class of 2023. First of all, congratulations to all of you for making it through the vigorous admissions process. When you don your white coats today, you can take pride at the fact that you are now on the other side as a student of our school and part of the wider medical fraternity. It is truly a privilege. I believe I speak from experience when I say that today is just the tip of the iceberg for you. The medical journey ahead will be intense but meaningful. There will be challenges, but more importantly, successes. Hold on to these successes. And in times of complexities, hold on to the friendships you will make, as well as the wealth of community spirit that Duke-NUS offers. These are support systems that will last you a lifetime. You are a small but mighty cohort with the legacies of those that came before you and the ones I am excited to see you go on to make. It is now my honor to invite Professor Chan Chung Ming and Associate Professor Shiva Saraf Yazdi to come up on stage for the presentation of the White Coats. May I present the class of 2028. Evangeline Agawal Gunjan. Anbarajan Pavitra Valerie An Hanning. Samuel Ashwin Augustine, Natalia Bido. Bien Shu Yang, Shaikh Muhammad Siami bin Shaikh Muhammad Salim. Nur Afika binti Muhammad Rizal, Chan Ka Xuan. K. Chan, Chen Zhen. Cheng Hui Kang, Cheong Kwok Leong. Priya Dashini, daughter of Chokalingam, Chow Junjong Earl. Felicia Chu Shu Wen, Chua Eileen. Chua Kai En Johannen, Isabel Cantada Chrysostomo. Dan Yue Ru, Deng Qi Yun. Fang Ke Sing, Go Tiong Ike Wesley. Hogan Amanda Gale, Hong Andy. Huang Shi-ying, Kritika Kasi Nata Durai. Brampreet Kaur, daughter of Harjinder Singh. Lee Pui Xuan. Lee Min Ju, Lee Zheng Lun. Emmanuel Edward Lim Jie Min, Lim Jun Wei. Megan Lim, Lim Yu Wen. Lim Zilin, Lin Qin Yi. Benjamin Liu, Liu Bo-yang Richard. Liu Zhennan, Abe Menon. Syed Rastin Monajemi, New Yu Sin Janessa. Timothy Ng Yu, Ng Wan Zhen, Janice. Ng Zhen An, Ong Chui Hian, Trisha. Agima Otgon Bata, Sean Fang Kia N. Hoon Wei Chang Ernest, Clarissa Tiffany Putjo. Zarina Rahich, Ragdi Ryan Chiefang. Saravanan Sweda, Vashini Saravanan. Jason Sentosa, Muhammad Amir Thaqif Shah. Shao Nan Di, Shen Jia Ying. Xia Chi Hon, Sim Yi En Ian. Si Ruo Teng Jolene, Tan Kai Yun. Wesley Tan, Tay Kai Heng Brandon. Teo Wei Shan Constance, Wang Han Yang. Wang Hu Wen, Jun Shen Wang. Wang Mu Yun, Wang Qi Kai. Wong Liang En Sarah, Yo Sun Yi. Yap Zhao Chuan, Yung Si Qi. Zhou Yirui, Isabel Zhu Xin Yu. Thank you, professors. Once again, congratulations to the class of 2028. Do take the time to celebrate with your loved ones before you embark on this next chapter of your lives. I look forward to welcoming you as a fellow colleague in a few short years. Welcome to Duke-NUS.
He's way taller. Thank you, Dr. Kopp. That concludes the introduction of the class of 2028. I would now like to invite Professor Fong Kok Yong to deliver his congratulatory remarks and to lead the recitation of the Hippocratic Oath. Professor Fong?
Very good evening to everyone here. I now want to invite the class of 2028 and all our guests to reflect on the significance of the Hippocratic Oath to the medical profession. This is an ancient but a very important oath attributed to Hippocrates, a Greek physician considered by many to be the father of medicine. The Hippocratic Oath sets out a set of values, a code of medical ethics, which guide a physician in his practice of medicine. Now, although written nearly 2,500 years ago, the oath is still very relevant today, as it ever was, and guides all physicians as to how they should practice medicine that is solely for the benefit of their patients. Now, this evening, the class of 2028 will recite the oath. And the oath lays out the professional values and personal responsibilities that our medical students all agree on to uphold in their care and interactions with patients. Now, through the individual and collective public declarations of the Hippocratic Oath, they affirm acceptance of their personal responsibilities as medical students as they begin their long but very meaningful journey to becoming trusted clinicians. Now, we traditionally and symbolically gather to recite the Hippocratic Oath at significant milestones during our students' journey. Now, first at this white coat ceremony, which marks the beginning of their medical training. Now, in due course, and actually 4 years passed by very fast, we will gather at their graduation, signaling the end of their basic medical education, and again, collectively reaffirm the Hippocratic Oath to mark their formal entry into the medical profession. Now, students, by this oath, you were born with your fellow medical students, your senior clinical colleagues which you will meet when you go into the wards, and in the years to come, other medical students who will follow your path. And your senior colleagues will become, in the coming years, your teachers, your guides, your mentors, and in some cases, probably your agony aunts and uncles. Now, at this solemn moment, I would also like to invite clinical colleagues here present who would also like to retake the Hippocratic Oath to join me and also the class of 2028 in reciting this oath together. Now, the class of 2028, may I invite you and also fellow physicians who are present to please stand for the recital of the Hippocratic Oath. Now, for the rest of the guests who are not doctors, you're not being left out. If you would like to stand, we will also be very appreciative if you take this as a mark of respect to the taking of the oath. Now I will lead the reading of this, reciting of this oath, and I want to invite all the students here and all the physicians here to raise your right hand and recite collectively each line after me, all right? And I want you to recite slowly and reflect on it, on each and every line that you recite. The Oath of Hippocrates. I do solemnly swear. By whatever I hold most sacred, that I will be loyal to the profession of medicine, and just and generous to its members, that I will lead my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor. That into whatsoever home I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick and the well. To the utmost of my power, and that I will hold myself aloof from wrong and from corruption. and from the tempting of others to vice. That I will exercise my art solely for the cure of my patients and the prevention of disease. And I will give no drugs and perform no operation for a criminal purpose, and far less suggest such a thing. That whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of men, which is not fitting to be spoken, I will keep inviolably secret. These things I do promise. And in proportion as I am faithful to this oath, may happiness and good repute be ever mine. The opposite, if I shall be forsworn. Thank you very much. It's always very moving to hear this part of the shared pledge that we will maintain the highest professional standards in the medical profession. Now, class of 2028, congratulations and welcome to the Duke-NUS Medical School. Okay, please be seated.
Thank you, Professor Fong. Congratulations, class of 2028, and indeed, welcome to the medical community and family at Duke-NUS. And now, to close the ceremony, I would like to invite Associate Professor Devanan Anantham, Director of the SingHealth Duke-NUS Medical Humanities Institute, to give his closing remarks.
Class of 2028, congratulations on reaching this milestone. You have every reason to be proud. I want to take this occasion to share some thoughts on values. Courage, integrity, compassion, collaboration. These are the values of our school. I want to focus today on one of these values because it was the theme of the graduation ceremony of your seniors this year. This is the value of courage. I put it to you that exploring the concept of courage is more than just challenging the status quo and creating the future. Yes, that requires courage too, absolutely. But class of 2028, you're going to need courage for the purposes of clinical practice too, just as your predecessors did before you. That is why I'm here to urge you on this proud day to summon up your courage as you venture forth onto the wards to train. The reading that I've chosen is by Daniel Offrey, physician at NYU, from a book, What Doctors Feel, How Emotions Affect the Practice of Medicine. In the chapter Scared Witless, there is an exploration of the relationship between the understandable fears and the need for courage. So here goes. The stat cardiac arrest page came through on my beeper at exactly the same moment as the hospital-wide PA system announced, code 411, cardiac arrest, MICU. The repetitive droning of a voice echoing through the 23 floors of the hospital and the persistent buzzing of the beeper at my waist were like rising tides of terror pressing on both sides of me. This was it, the first code that I was in charge of. After 2 years of racing to codes as a first and second year resident, buoyed by the excitement of dramatic action, thrilled to be part of a team, grateful to be assigned one of many minute tasks required to save a life, and secure in the knowledge that the medical consult would be directing the show. Now suddenly, the code was mine. I was the medical consult. I was the one who called the shots, to direct the care, assign the jobs, to make the decisions. There was a crowd huddled around bed 5. I loped over, pressing through the bodies, angling towards the head of the bed. I'm the medical consult, I announced, gamely soothing over the jitteriness in my voice. And then my brain splintered into complete and utter darkness. The resident began feeding me facts. 72-year-old guy, diabetes, coronary artery disease, stroke last year, admitted with pneumonia, developed allergic reaction to antibiotics, subsequent renal insufficiency, transferred to the MICU 3 days ago for congestive heart failure, spiked a fever last night, a bit delirious but still talking, now unresponsive, BP 70, thready pulse, or something like that. Truth was, I couldn't have told you the details 20 seconds after it finished, relaying them to me, much less 20 years later. Everything he said sloshed into the primordial neuronal soup that was now the condition of my gray matter. Say something, I implored myself. Anything. Chest compressions, I forced out. Keep bagging the oxygen, get a line in, ECG. Any idiot knows how the basics of keeping someone alive. But what next? My brain remained jammed with panic. I couldn't seem to remember a damn thing of those ACLS training courses. All the protocols that seemed so logical then, so ridiculously simple on those ever-forgiving mannequins. Now there was someone real, someone alive. Though perhaps not for much longer with me at the helm, I couldn't unknot a single protocol. I stared at the ECG. I stared and stared. I squinted at the zigs and zags, and they seemed to melt into a Sanskrit jumble. Think, I demanded. Think. All those exhortations from my teachers about approaching the ECG methodically, about systematically examining the rhythm, rate, axis, P waves, QRS complexes, T waves, the lessons evaporated into the cold shudder of reality. Think, I screamed to myself. Okay, the T waves, maybe they looked a little peaked. Peak T waves are indicative of elevated potassium levels, except when they aren't, and except when they look peaked but weren't actually peaked. They did look sort of peaked, I thought to myself, or maybe they were just hyperacute T waves, or maybe they were just enlarged from early repolarization, or maybe they were just big. I was too terrified to trust myself on anything. I could order the treatment for hyperkalemia if those peak T waves were real. But I was too scared that I may be wrong. What if I injected intravenous calcium for hyperkalemia that wasn't actually there and then really messed things up? Who's in charge? Barked a new voice. My body seized up tighter, if that was even possible. A cardiology fellow blasted his way into the crowd, clearly seeing the mess for what it was. I looked up and made a vague indication that I was running the code. He leaned in and looked at the ECG. Peak T waves, hyperkalemia, he announced clearly, but not derisively. An act of humanity that allowed me a modicum of dignity. Get some calcium, he said, an amp of bicarb, D50, and insulin. The patient did all right in the end, or at least survived the code, which is pretty much what we consider success in MICU. I slunk off after the patient stabilized, hoping to disappear into the sea of white coats. Shuffling off. I was furious at myself for getting so paralyzed by fear that I could barely run the code. What had happened to all my training? All the codes I participated in? All the lectures and books I'd been learning from? And what made me angriest at myself was that I'd actually gotten it right. It was hyperkalemia. The T waves absolutely had been peaked. I could have called it on the spot. and been the model of a take-charge resident as the medical consult running the code is supposed to be. But I couldn't get beyond my gripping fear of the situation, of getting it wrong, of killing the patient, of looking like an idiot. I hope that narrative connected with you. Medical humanities is all about human connection. This is a clinical scenario that is played out every day in our hospitals. And a fear that I'm sure that every doctor has experienced to some degree or the other. I believe that fear is a natural emotion in medicine. My friends and colleagues have shared with me how terrified they have been at various points in their career. And it is much more common than one would think, and perhaps more common than what patients care to know about. The fear of getting something wrong, the fear of your patient paying the price for your mistake, the fear of causing harm, which is the opposite of what we came to medicine to do. So class of 2028, I'm sorry to tell you this, that this fear doesn't completely ever go away, even after years of practice and even after managing thousands of patients. With practice, I just end up concealing it better. Fear is just more obvious on the faces of new students. And as Dr. Offrey puts it, it is merely the first link in a chain that wends its way through the life of a doctor. It may be sublimated at times, it may wax and wane, but the fear of harming your patients never departs. It is inextricably linked to the practice of medicine. If one compared with friends in other professions and asked what their worst fear is, it may be something along the lines of making a financial blunder, screwing up a major project, losing a job, disappointing family, losing money. But one wonders, is that all that they can be afraid of? In medicine, there is the fear of causing harm or even accidentally killing someone. That is exactly the fear that was described in the narrative. Doctors, for all their confidence and competitiveness, are really quite a fearful bunch, and this is understandable and sometimes necessary, especially if what we do involves jabbing patients with needles, cutting them with scalpels, and injecting them with toxic drugs. Then, to use the metaphor, we don't want cowboys in the profession. The courage that is reflected in our school's values is about how this fear is confronted, acknowledged, shared, and finally overcome with diligent practice, mentorship, and camaraderie, from the realization that we're all of us are in the same boat. I want to conclude with a few short reflections on courage from the Irish poet David Whyte. Courage is a word that tempts us to think outwardly, to run bravely against opposing fire, to do something under besieging circumstance, and perhaps above all, to be seen to do it in public. To show courage, to be celebrated in story, rewarded with medals, given the accolade. But to look at its linguistic origins is to look at a more interior direction and towards its original template, the old Norman French word corps or heart. Courage is the measure of our heartfelt participation with life, with another, with a community, a work, a future. To be courageous is not necessarily to go anywhere or to do anything, except to make conscious those things we already feel deeply about, and then to live through the unending vulnerabilities of those consequences. To be courageous is to seat our feelings deeply in the body and in the world, to live up to the necessities of relationships that often already exist, with things we already care deeply about, with person, with a future, and a possibility in society, or with an unknown that begs us on and has always begged us on. To be courageous is to stay close to the way that we are made. So, class of 2028, I urge you, be brave, be not afraid, be courageous. We look forward to your heartfelt participation and welcome you to the medical fraternity. My congratulations once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anantham, as I shake off the cold sweat that your sober yet inspiring words brought us to. So, class of 2028, a final word just before we conclude. Today, you officially don your white coats for the first time, a symbol of the trust society places in you. In the years ahead, you'll face challenges, no doubt, that will test you, doubts that will plague you, triumphs that will define you. Embrace them all. Remember, medicine isn't just about treating diseases. It's about touching lives. And your compassion will be as crucial as your knowledge and skills. Take a moment now and look at those seated beside you. Go on. Take a look around. These faces you see, they're your comrades in arms, your lifeline for the years ahead. They'll be your 3 a.m. study buddies, your shoulder to lean on, your partners in countless coffee runs. Treasure these connections. They're as vital to your journey as any textbook. Now look around at the rest of this auditorium. All of us in Duke-NUS and in Sing Health are here to teach, guide, and support you. And look at your loved ones who will be cheering you on every step of the way. So embark on your journey and join us in shaping the future of healthcare. And we welcome you once again. Congratulations. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the ceremony. Thank you all for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed this evening. Now, for our final task, may I invite our Duke-NUS and Sing Health leadership, faculty, and the class to follow our ushers for the group photograph. To the other guests, kindly remain seated until the ushers guide you to the foyer shortly. These photos will be shared with every student, so family and friends, rest assured you won't miss the opportunity to capture the moment. Thank you once again.